Nestled along the Mariveles coastline, the GN Power Mariveles Coal Plant Limited or Gmcp operates and maintains a 2x 315 megawatt coal-fired subcritical power station which generates up to 690 megawatts. A growing company of more than 210 employees and over 200 contractors working in 12-hour shifts. As one of the country's largest power suppliers, Gmcp is totally committed to ensuring the physical well-being of its people and visitors who regularly conduct business within its premises.
We at Gmcp believe that safety is not only a priority, it is a core value. While priorities change, values are ingrained and constant. A goal of zero harm drives our health and safety culture. Working safely is about doing the right thing. When safety is a value, there's a commitment to do the job the right way all the time. There's no wavering, there's no question about how to proceed because we demonstrate what we value with our actions. We care about people, we care about your loved ones, your family, and we care about your co-workers. It should be easy to change the way you do your job to ensure that you don't hurt yourself or anyone else and nobody's looking and nobody's monitoring. Safety is a job requirement, but more importantly, safety is a moral obligation to yourself, the company, your co-workers, and your family.
Occupational Health and Safety Policy Statement. We, GN Power Mariveles Coal Plant Limited Corporation or GMCP, recognize its moral and legal responsibility to provide a safe and healthy work environment for employees, contractors, customers, and visitors. We will promote a culture of excellence in the workplace with emphasis on maintaining an accident-free and healthy environment. Establish emergency and contingency plans that deal with residual risk and minimize threats to the workers, plant equipment, and shareholders' interests. Review and revise this policy as necessary at regular intervals.
Upon entrance to the GMCP facility, please observe the following security guidelines. Slow down when approaching a gate or a checkpoint. Please comply when security personnel requests to inspect your vehicles or belongings. Always be courteous and cooperate with our security personnel. And other weapons are not permitted at the GMCP facility. Color-coded passes distinguishes employees from contractors, suppliers, and visitors. Motorists are advised of the following speed limits: 40 kilometers per hour when traveling from the first gate to the sliding gate, 30 kilometers per hour when traveling from the main gate to the main plant intersection, 20 kilometers per hour when driving within the plant vicinity, and 15 kilometers per hour if within the jetty or the heavy lift wharf. Park at designated parking areas around the plant. Please park your vehicles properly, follow parking instructions and flow of traffic. Do not park in operational areas or on areas which can block firefighting equipments, including fire hydrants. In addition, vehicles must not be left unattended with the engine running. GMCP enforces an alcohol-free work environment. GMCP conducts random drug testing with third-party clinics accredited by the Department of Health. GMCP enforces a one-strike policy for alcohol offenders. Random alcohol tests are conducted to ensure that all workers coming to work are free from the influence of alcohol. Smoking policy. In keeping with a healthy working environment and because of the presence of flammable and combustible materials on site, smoking within the GMCP facility is strictly prohibited, except in designated smoking areas. Like any industrial environment, GMCP requires the use of personal protective equipment or PPE as a preventive measure against accidents. Not only do PPEs protect one physically, these also serve to remind both employees and guests to be aware of the potential hazards around the facility and be conscious about their movements and behavior during their stay at GMCP. A strict dress code of a proper shirt, long pants, and closed shoes must be followed upon entering the plant facility. In addition, The following protective gear must be worn while within the GMCP premises. Hard hat. More than just a piece of headgear, the hard hat prevents injuries to the head while moving around pipes, exposed beams, and other structural features. It also protects one against falling debris, sunlight, and rain. Goggles or safety glasses. This protects the eyes from flying debris or particles that may have been thrown in the air, like rocks, metal shards or glass, and chemicals. Earplugs or earmuffs. There are areas around the plant that generate a certain level of noise that may be too much for the human ear. Earplugs are mandatory to protect one against hearing damage. Reflective vest. Worn over clothing, the vest renders the wearer to be highly visible to others and makes one easier to avoid when heavy machinery are in use in the area. Working boots or safety shoes. This special type of footwear is built with a solid shell above the toes in case a heavy object falls over the feet. It is also made with soles designed to be slip resistant when walking over oily or slippery surfaces.
An access certificate when entering restricted areas such as transformer yard, second floor boiler mezzanine, hydrogen plant and sealware is required.
Safe work begins with effective communication. At GMCP, we perform a safety task analysis, risk reduction talk, and a job hazard analysis to guarantee that everyone is well informed and is geared towards the same purpose. We encourage you to participate in these processes, for communication is the cornerstone of every activity we do. Supervisors or acceptors will explain the established chain of communication with each and every one of you. Plant hazards. The structural and mechanical environment at GMCP poses working hazards that are both mechanical and electrical. Wear your PPE around the plant and always be on the lookout for moving, rotating parts, and hot surfaces. Some areas within the facility generates up to 230 kilovolts of electricity, so it is an absolute must to stay clear and avoid touching surfaces. Stairs. Always hold the handrails and avoid running when going up and down a staircase. Chemical hazards. When working or visiting an industrial site, there is always a risk of chemical exposure, and a person may be contaminated or exposed to chemicals through the following: inhalation, absorption, ingestion, and injection. Proper hand washing technique. Be sure to wash all traces of chemicals from your hands before eating or using the toilet. Wear the proper PPE is specifically designed to prevent chemical exposure. General fire safety. When a fire breaks out, it is best to follow these simple rules. Raise the alarm and dial 1031. Remain calm. If working on a machine, turn it off if it is safe. Do not delay evacuation if so instructed. Do not run. Move quickly to the assembly area. Do not attempt to salvage any of your possessions. Do not leave the assembly area until instructed to do so. If ever the need should arise, our employees are trained in firefighting and an emergency response team is always on standby and ready.
Evacuation areas are designated to facilitate immediate treatment and general safety of every person in the facility. In case of fire, exit the building through appropriate exits, remain calm, and report to your designated area so your supervisor can account for you.
These areas are the following. Area 1, the car park outside the administration building. Area 2, outside the maintenance building. Area 3, outside the warehouse. Area 4, outside the industrial waste water treatment plant. Area 5, outside the material handling building. Area 6, outside the chemical process building. Area 7, jetty area. And Area 8, power block area parking area. Incident reporting. Even guests are encouraged to report any incident which occurs within the plant. Remember, as long as you are within the GMCP compound, anything that happens here will affect everyone, including you. Accidents are investigated to determine the cause, to allow precautions and safety standards to be implemented to prevent a repeat of the very same accident. You would be surprised to learn that 85 to 95% of all accidents and injuries are the results of unsafe acts of people. People taking shortcuts, not following proper procedures, ignoring safety rules, and completely not paying attention. Report any of these incidents to the management or security staff. Illness or injury, near misses, property damage, chemical spill, fire or explosion. Earthquake. In the event of an earthquake, experts recommend that you get under a sturdy desk or other heavy objects to duck and cover. Hold duck under a heavy object for safety. Cover your head with your hands and remain that position until it's safe to move. Clinic. For your safety, please advise your supervisor if you are taking any medication or currently experiencing any symptoms that may affect your ability to perform your assigned duties.
Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. As a reminder, this is a broad introduction to the expectations we have for the work in our facilities. We will have a more detailed pamphlet that should be reviewed prior to starting work. We think that taking the time to get aligned before we start will ensure a smooth, efficient, safe, and environmentally sensitive relationship.